All right, sorry about that, everybody. We had to swap back over to StreamYard, so
Can everybody hear me?
hopefully they can. I can hear the intro. Good sign. Well, I guess y'all couldn't hear the intro before. I don't know why.
I couldn't hear the intro before.
Anyway, well, so
Josh.
the group, we had the whole group. I don't know if we'll have everybody back right now.
Perfect. Where's Gene back?
Yeah, we got Matt and Gene back, but it's the crew for MTE. They're going to do a shop owners roundtable discussion class. Y'all can come in and listen to, but they're going to explain it. And so let's go ahead and bring Matt and Gene on, and then we'll bring everybody else on as they come in. So what's up, guys?
What's up, Sorry.
All right, so
we're just cavemen dent guys. We're not internet nerds.
Technology is not our friend.
Right. No,
it's not. But anyway, hope y'all are doing great. I know y'all been swamped. We all have. It's been a blessing to us all this season, and but anyway, we're excited to hear about this class y'all are going to do at MTE. Especially as a shop owner myself and Andy and everybody else. I really think it'll be good for us and new people or techs that are looking to possibly go into a shop later on. But Andy, you got anything to lead them off with? Questions?
Personally, I think I've probably talked to each and every one of you, when we was getting our shop and everything, and gotten great valuable information from you. I'm glad you guys have came up with the idea to do this to spread the word more. I think it's going to be very beneficial because shop is the new thing for PDR, and what better guys to talk about it than all of y'all. So I'm excited.
Well, certainly, thanks for having us on.
Absolutely
we appreciate the opportunity to get on and spread the word about it a little bit. And I'm really hoping that this is the most well attended class at MTE. That's my goal.
I feel like it will be.
I put money on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Should be a fun time. I think we all, when we were chatting about doing this, we were all basically like, dude, why haven't we done this in the past? This makes sense to get together and chat and try to be as transparent as we can possibly be. I know, all of us, heck, most of these guys, including we're on a podcast now, we've learned from podcasts with guys just being transparent and the shop owner seems to be the path that people are going towards. And so we get a lot of the same questions and we have a lot of the same questions, and felt like if we could kind of put all of these minds in the same room, it'd be a really cool thing to do.
I think it's like anything else. We need people like y'all that have the information to move us forward as an industry instead of trying to keep everything secret. I think there's a lot of classes I think we should have. This being particularly one of them. I think it's a great thing. So I'm excited. Yeah. I'm definitely going to try to be there.
Yeah, I got some. I'm supposed to be helping set up or whatever, but I'm going to sneak over and definitely get in on this class.
I think we're one of the last classes, right? So
we are. Yep. Yeah. End of the day.
Yeah.
Should be after setup.
So work faster and really.
I'm with Dentcraft crew, so we have it all done pretty quick. So.
See, Sam, even Stephen said this is the info he needs, and like I said, what better people to get it from? So, just makes too much sense. Nice. Oh, Drago's sipping on the bourbon.
To me, when we were chatting about doing this, it was cool because, I don't know about y'all, but I've been to MTE 10 times, something like that. And the very first maybe 2 years I came to the education day, felt like there was a lot of information I soaked up. And then 3 or 4 years I went back and it was a lot of the same information, right? Now that's not always the case. There's obviously guys pushing it forward. There's been a lot of technology changes and scanning and glue pulling, all the stuff that's out there. But for a tech that's a really new tech, I think there's a ton of information on Education Day that has always existed.
Must go.
But when you get into 5 or 6 years, there's just kind of I sent several of my techs and they were at a class and they basically came back and said everything they taught us we already do a little bit better than they were teaching. So in a lot of ways, it can the education kind of hits a threshold, and so for us, I think every one of these guys, and including, what's funny is including Brandon and Andy, like all of us have called one another, leaned on one another, and asked questions of each other. You know, Chris and I have talked about marketing. Cory and I have talked about hiring, and Gene, you know, we've all like talked about how to take steps forward in your business and what it looks like when you're opening a new shop and what are you looking for. And these are the guys that when I'm looking at shops, I'm sending pictures to and saying, what do you think about this and all that? And I think there's a lot of people out there that are in the same boat and they don't know who to turn to. And what is maybe helpful is just seeing that everyone has a lot of the same questions. And so we wanted to open it up to have those questions answered. And what, you know, I don't, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but every time I get asked a question, Gene and Cory and Chris, and I'm almost hesitant to answer my response because it's so like, this is my experience, but like your market's different, who your clients are different, your employees are different. And I encourage everyone I'm giving advice to go and talk to other people because they're all going to have similar questions, but maybe different answers. And so I thought that a roundtable type discussion would be really helpful to have, like, you know, again, 4 or 5 different thoughts on the same question that are all successful answers. So it makes it where there's not one shape that fits everything. What do y'all, I mean, that was kind of my thoughts on this.
I totally agree with you. And as far as like, you know, a lot of people have questions of adding services. Like that's something we talk a lot about on my podcast as well. And basically like people are asking, Matt has services, I have different services. And the question on that is like, it depends. If someone calls you and say, hey, should I add PPF? Well, it depends. Are there a bunch of PPF places that do a really good job that have a lot of, are already set up on Google and all that type of stuff? Like, is it going to be a new ocean, a blue ocean for you? Or is it going to be, you're going to have a lot of competition? Maybe you need to look at Restore FX. Maybe you need to just hire more dank guys. So it just depends. And so I think there's going to be a lot of those questions as far as like, what should I do? That's not what we're trying to cover. I think we're trying to cover more of a broad, like, what does it look like if you do this? Not like, should you do it? Because that's not something we can answer really without knowing all of your background, which in our position, none of us have time to spend a couple hours to answer that question for you. Our goal is like, here's what it looked like when we did this. If you do it, it could look like this, you know, and you have to make that choice for yourself.
And hopefully be able to motivate people to make those next steps. I mean, I think that's the goal. I mean, I wouldn't care if a PPF shop set up right across the street from me. I would create my blue ocean, like you said, Cory. Yeah. So if you're determined to grow something of scale, doesn't matter to me. But you got to know that you're going to be in it for a fight and how to fight that, right? And so,
absolutely,
you know, we do a SWOT analysis on every location we build. So I can say, hey, it's going to be a tough one, or you know, let's go some low hanging fruit. But hopefully, if you're in Los Angeles and you want to grow, like we want to encourage that and be able to provide information around. Maybe some of the difficulties you may run into, and so you're just well armed.
Right. I want to get to Amanda's question. I kept popping it up, but I was letting you guys roll with it. But what topics will you cover? Is it pretty much anything shop related, open for discussion? Are you taking requests? And the reason I want to bring that up is because right now is a good time. If anybody's planning on going to this, go ahead and get these guys the questions right here. They're going to have them down, and they're going to be able to answer them. They put a lot more thought into it than just popping it up at the round table. So,
yeah, we currently.
So go ahead, Chris. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say we currently have questions, but we are taking more, and we're going to kind of just summarize them and see if any of them have a connection, and then kind of work on that. I mean, a lot of the stuff is from hiring to marketing. I mean, no question is the wrong question. So.
I'll add probably what Matt was going to say, but the reason we're doing it that way is because we want to come prepared. I know Matt and I talked about it a little bit. Like the reason we're collecting questions ahead of time is that so we don't get caught off guard. If you have a question about dollars, when should you hire a tech, that type of stuff, I can come with numbers that help me make that decision and then tell you that stuff. I can't do that off the cuff, and so there probably will be a point. Maybe I don't know, Matt. I'm not sure. I guess if we have enough questions we fill the whole time, then we probably won't take a Q&A, but if there is at the end, if there's enough time, maybe we will do some like free form, but majority of it's going to be prepared.
We have a lot of really good questions that
that's a new joke.
No, it's all right. What's funny is there are a lot of the questions that I know personally, I get calls probably about 3 times a month from somebody.
It's
Either
me.
Facebook
I'm
Messenger
the
call
caller.
me about, hey, I'm thinking about making a jump from doing body shops and dealers to retail location. What's that look, whatever. And so for us, it's about kind of like what we're basically going to do is we're going to have it up on a slide. We're going to answer the questions. And what's going to be interesting is, when someone's asking about multiple services, that doesn't really apply to all of us, but all of us that are going to be up there have, grinding, successful businesses that are working hard to try to be better next year than we are this year. But we all kind of went in different directions, uniquely similar because we all were PDR techs at one point, but we've all kind of gone in different directions, which is interesting to me. I think that's a fascinating topic. And so what we've done is we've on some Facebook posts, we've collected a bunch of questions, and then even in tonight, I'll go over. We'll read off some of these tonight. But it's going to be interesting because I think that what it'll do is the guys that are in that audience, they're going to be, one guy's going to connect to something that Gene says and be like, that's the market, that's the direction I want to go. And somebody else is going to say, oh man, RestoreFX is the thing for me. And the other guy may want to do more the PPF because it's the right fit for them because whatever it is. And so I think that's what's important about it is realizing that there is no one path that makes you successful in this business. It's about working hard and working smart and understanding your market, but also about being, just thoughtful in the direction you want to go. And so, anyway, I just think if I could share a stage with any guys, these are the guys I want to share a stage with because I'm honest with this. I know all of you would say something. I don't know any of the stuff any better than anyone else. I'm just a dude with the fixed dents that's trying to grind out a business now. and I'm just, I don't want to be the guy who's prescribing anything. I just want to describe my experience. And I think that's helpful for you guys as well.
Yeah. I think it's the best. Yeah, I think it's the best way you can do it. And by the way, like Stefan had posted questions. Y'all post your questions in here. It's not necessarily questions that we're going to ask and answer these guys, they have these guys answer tonight, but it's ones that we'll write down or
I think you're writing them down, ain't you, Gene?
Yeah, I'm trying to take notes as they come
I thought
up.
I seen you writing.
And make sure this is a shop owners roundtable, so make sure it's something as far as questions about shop related stuff. So just keep putting your questions in here, and that way they can have it for MTE.
I think questions about adding.
Some of the questions we've been asked is about hiring. Who do you hire first? How do you know when it's the right time to hire? Well, you don't have to have a shop to hire, so you can still learn from something like this. Thanks, Danny. You can still learn from things like this, even if you don't go with a brick and mortar or whatever it is. I mean, I think for all of us, Education Day is incredibly valuable, but it, in a lot of ways, feels like, again, it's geared towards young techs, or it's maybe a company, a company selling microfibers tried to teach you about why their microfibers are the best or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so, like,
that's what it's turned into.
When we all did this, we all talked about it. We said, literally, we're not going to do any. There's no sponsorship. There's no branding. There's nothing in it for us. It's genuinely, we just want to answer questions that 6 years ago I was asking, and all of the guys on the screen were asking.
And get granular. That's the go deep. This surface level question answering is not what I'm here for.
Right.
And that's why to reflect on Cory, we're going to have time to research these questions to bring information around it. So hopefully we can. Go ahead.
Sorry. Quick shout out. Since you're going to get Education Day stuff, go ahead and go to Shuddy's class about Dr. Color Chip too, because we're kind of excited about that one. He's learned some tips and tricks about that. So that's another good one to go to at Education Day. Had to throw him a shout out.
Mm-hmm. He's out there waving. So
yeah, right.
So guys, y'all all have the questions that we've asked so far. Which ones we sent it, and each one of you basically said these are incredible questions. They're great because I went through every Facebook post I could find. Which one are you? If there's one question you're excited about answering, maybe because it hit home, maybe because you just think it's a good question. Was there one thing or topic that stood out to you?
So
I like the hiring.
So hiring's good for me. It's how do you make that jump from doing mobile work to the shop? How do you make that jump? And what does that commitment look like? Right? Like that's where I feel like a lot of people go wrong.
Well, that's the scary part, the pull the trigger part, right?
Yep.
The commitment part.
And that really goes back to like one of my philosophies is sometimes you've got to take that like little step backwards to take that leap forwards. And that's where everybody like gets scared and then they start running forward again before they're ready to take that leap. That's probably, and I think, in fact, it is the top question on our list.
Nice.
I mean, not like
just the first
ordered.
Yeah.
That's the first one. I'm like, that was it because I struggled with that for a long time. That's
a lot of people that are mobile is like, man, I just can't see myself sitting in the shop from 8 to 5. I don't have any issues with it. I love it. Like, especially, I mean, if we're slow, I'm miserable sitting here from 8 to 5. But if you're busy, like it goes by. You get to look at what you got and be proud of it and stuff. So I think it's way better than grinding out in the parking lot myself. But we're all different.
Yep.
I think your 10-year-old self will thank you too.
Yeah,
No, absolutely. That's right.
Chris, what was your
Prepare
favorite
for the future, guys.
Right.
Chris, what was your favorite question? You said hiring. What was it?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was just the hiring. I think that's the biggest fear. I mean, that was my biggest fear, was to hire, to make sure that I feel like it's an obligation when you hire someone to bring them on board, pay for their salary, their family is involved in it. I'm very connected with my employees. So I don't hire just for temporary. I hire for long term. And I even had to make some adjustments to that. As we get hit, like the hail comes in and I got to hire 3 or 4 guys, I can't be too attached to that. Or if I hire admin staff or accounting, I mean, we would go from 9 to 12 employees all the way to like 20 some odd employees pretty much overnight. So everyone doesn't get Chris, unfortunately.
Right.
But with hiring, we put together a onboarding packet. It's 106 pages that they read through. And so that pretty much pushed me to systemize my business in each department. And so hiring is just the next step. Once you know how to hire, how to train, then stepping out and getting a shop and hiring your first employee is easy because you have a format to follow. And I don't want to go too deep into it, but hopefully in the roundtable,
come to the show. Come to the top.
Come to the show because I want to pick out of that 106-page onboarding packet that we have with videos and everything. I think there's like 20 to 30 different videos in there that it gets people up to speed within weeks. I don't have to do any training, any one-on-one training, or at least maybe 5% of one-on-one training. So. Anyway, that's why I like hiring so much because it's systems. At that
I'll follow up on that.
Okay.
I'll follow up on that with my favorite question being mindset, but that's, if anybody knows me, that's pretty much where I always land. But I would say a lot of what Chris is talking about is the mindset part of it, and you get to choose how you want to make this business. If you want to be just a route tech, not just a route tech. If you want to be a route tech, that's fine too. If you want to move into a shop, why do you want to move into a shop and stay by yourself, or maybe have one other technician there? Just understand who you are, understand what you want, and what the goals you're trying to achieve are. Are you trying to open up multiple locations? Are you trying to have a shop that has 5 or 6 people work at it? Like what's the goal? Like having a lease payment is not the goal. It's what are you trying to build? And each of us is trying to build something different. And if your dream is to have a shop location for yourself where you're the tech and you do everything, that's just as good as Chris opening up locations all over the country and Matt expanding in Georgia. I mean, there's no different. It's just understanding what you want, knowing yourself.
Corey, bouncing off that, I think if you do have you get a shop for yourself just for you to work, I think your mind changes into starting getting employees. Because me personally,
it sure can.
That's where I started at. I was like, I'm just gonna get it for me, fix some dents, and now I'm like, I need people to fix the dents for me so I can grow this thing. So I think
if you may not have ever done it because you're like, I don't want to have 5 or 6 employees, but if you start with yourself and then you get to that, it's like once you get to that next ledge, then you can see the top of that mountain, then you can see the next top. You couldn't see it before because you weren't in the shop. And I was the guy who said I never wanted a shop because I wanted the freedom of mobile. I said, go back on my podcast, the receipts are there. I said it 100 times. And now Hudson, I don't know if he's still on here, called me the other day because I made a post on Facebook saying this is why I have people come into the shop, because I had 2 lights, Shrinky box, glue, the whole Kiko cart and all that stuff. And he called me and was like, you're a trader, dude. You could have done this mobile. I'm like, yeah, but marketing's a thing, dude. But yeah,
I like it.
Things change.
I like Dave.
Did you notice?
Dave sent this to me. He sent it to me, but I think it'd be a great question for the roundtable. What during that downtime when the shop is slow, what are you guys doing? Obviously we're all going to say grind, but there's certain ways of grinding to get more business in the door. So I think touching on those would be very helpful for people.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's great. I love every question is going to be spawned by whatever your own experience is, like, right. Mm-hmm. And what's, I love that, when someone shares an experience, when I, call Chris and talk about marketing or we're using HubSpot or CRM or whatever it is, like he can tell his experience, I can tell mine. And we've kind of both had success in different ways using some of the same stuff. I love that, like, when a guy is on these questions, they're asking questions that I was asking 6-7 years ago. Gene was asking, Cory's. I mean, all of us have been asking the same damn stuff and just figuring it out. I mean, none of us have a doctorate in this. We just are trying to figure it out as cavemen, basically figuring out how to be business owners, right?
Right.
Yeah. My favorite, what I think that I would have thought my favorite questions would have been the mindset one, because that's kind of like the process orienting and all that, which I love those. But I think the hiring was some of my favorite too. I loved one of them was, it's a really good question. When hiring a tech, should you hire experience or train them? What are the advantages of doing so? I love that because I've trained guys from the ground up and I've hired experienced techs, and there are advantages to both. And there are things that you should know going into both. And I think that's the thing that, I mean, these are questions that I didn't even know to ask, in all honesty, when I was starting my business. Yeah. And I think that's great that people are asking them before they go there, because that shows they're smarter than we are. Because I didn't know this. I just did it because I hated the text. I hired somebody.
Right.
But I'm excited. I mean, Chris, I didn't know you were that in depth with your onboarding manual. That is badass. Like, that's awesome.
Oh, I got to show you. It is serious.
You just need to put that in our group.
It is serious. Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
Everything from posting to how to take pictures to
nice.
It's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because most of our techs can fill into every role, so they can do admin, obviously write estimates, do the repairs, make phone calls to adjusters and stuff like that. So we just give them for tech side, we just give them an easy way to just find everything. So the goal of the onboarding, which we were changing this year, was that it's a reference kind of handbook for them. So hopefully they'll just keep going back, find even like State Farm's emails and phone numbers. You go back to the handbook. I want to get the guys to just every week go back to that handbook. And so when they ask me questions, I reference the handbook if I can. Hey, here's the link directly to the handbook. So it just gets them accustomed to, hey, there's a lot of stuff in there. Because when you give a handbook, 106 pages, it's overwhelming. They don't read it. No. And so over the weeks, if you keep, the ones that read it, actually, let me just say.
Right. Yeah, it stands out.
Right. So then I just keep referring back to the handbook, and they tend to get the drill.
Every time I think I'm a process guy, I hang out with Chris, and it's like, it's like, oh, this guy, he's at a different level.
So Chris,
no, man.
I love it. It's so good.
Chris, how long did it take you to create the 106-page onboarding book?
Well, definitely not like a month. It's been growing ever since, and we had to do a modification in Chicago because it's just different. So it started with admin staff first, and I'm like, a lot of this stuff the technician should know. And then as technicians come in, it's like, they should know this, they should know that. And I can't be everywhere. So, but I want everyone to know, I want the company to be ran a certain way. So the only way I can do that is express myself through a handbook. And I'm telling you, it's videos, it's screen shares of how to work different software inside of the company. I mean, it's pretty thorough. So, I mean, we use Shop Launch. Cory, I think, uses Shop Launch too. HubSpot, I think it was what Matt uses. So it's basically a CRM, and there's things inside of that CRM to connect customers to our follow-up. Every car that's in our shop overnight, they get a follow-up text message just saying, hey, everything is going great. Just letting you know, cars in the shop, and we'll update you with the status early in the morning if anything changes, and we try to be a little more proactive. But that's all in the handbook, and hopefully the handbook represents our company culture too, as they read through it and as they watch the videos and stuff like that. So again, I can't be everywhere. So at that point, I want to give them me, but in a more seamless, autonomous way, if that makes sense.
Right. And touching on CRM, do you have a question about CRM systems for the speech? Because I think that CRM is the way to
talk
go.
About that.
I think
we haven't been asked one about it yet, to be honest with you.
I'm asking, what is a CRM?
What is a CRM?
Okay.
I think exactly, because especially, I mean, if you're a one-man show, like a CRM is huge for you. I mean, even when you get employees, it's even bigger. But as a one-man show, a CRM can save your ass. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that definitely needs to be talked about in the shop.
Yeah, as soon the first 2 or 3 times that you forget to message a customer back because you're using Facebook messages, Instagram messages, emails from your website, text message on your personal cell, a voicemail from your business, like there's too many different places. You can just take, basically what it does is takes all that and puts it into one number and one dashboard. Then you never, if you're following that, you never miss customers. And so if you have 3 people that call you a week, then you probably don't need a CRM. I mean, because you can track 3 people in your head. But as soon as you drop the ball 3-4 times, you've already cost yourself potentially thousands.
And I know Matt could touch on this with the following up of people. You put them in the opportunity that they need to be followed up with. How much more revenue can that bring in for you for following up?
We were a little slow today. My office manager, I said, hey, we're going to reach out to old leads today. Old leads meaning 2-3 weeks, stuff that we've kind of I need to think about it. I need to ask my wife. I got to get this insurance thing. You follow back up. We booked 3 appointments today just by having old leads sitting there and saying, hey, did you figure that out? Like, oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's huge. We could talk. We could do a whole. I mean, I've done it with Matt. A whole entire talk just on CRMs.
Right.
Actually, it was just on reviews on CRMs. It wasn't even about CRMs, as you know, Andy.
One little thing.
The beauty about CRMs is you can put them in each column, and they can be an automation for every time you move them along.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's. Yeah.
Chris, I bet you go nuts with some automation, don't you?
Yeah, don't get Chris
too much. Too much, yeah. So I had to go back.
Even with automations, it's got spots where you put in a certain code, and it's going to say their name automatically. It's going to say whatever you need to within that code. It's huge. It's like personalized, but it's not coming from you. You're back here working on a dent. Your system is personalized messaging people and making shit happen.
So right now we're building the sales kind of funnel. So if a customer comes in, I would say maybe 4 out of the 10 that come in, they may have to think about it, but I am going to make the judgment call and see where they're at in that buying stage. I'm hoping the sales team will be able to do that. So if the guy just takes our ass in, I don't feel like he's connected to what PDR is. He's just there for the price. I'm going to send them several text messages and emails talking about the price, what's more important to him, obviously trying to bring them into the more value side. And so that's one of the ways I kind of filter. So I have 3 columns. So
awesome. I love
it.
I bet you got 500 columns, Chris.
No. Because then you got to just keep. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But no.
Yeah,
but the automation, so that's the key. Like you're almost acting as 3 people from there, so.
And recorded, as far as high level, recorded phone calls, especially if you got a staff, you can go back and get all the information from that 100%. Phone call that you didn't talk to the customer with. So that's huge too.
You could have a class just on CRMs.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
I'm a believer in it now that I finally have I've been bugging him forever. I was like, you need it, especially you being, I mean, he's got Mandy for most of the time, but still learning it. I mean, it's difficult to learn, but
who do you have, Brandon? Which platform do you use? High level. Okay, yeah. So similar to
just started,
what,
a month maybe?
Yeah.
We could talk about, so Dwayne had the wholesale question. We could talk about doing wholesale in a shop environment, because there's different.
Always learning, Josh.
You're not in a wholesale in a sense that we're going to go knock out a bunch of cars at a dealer lot. Although I do have technicians that do that for me. I just don't personally do that. So that's one side of it. And then there's a big market for having some other company do the $75 car dents, and then you do the hard stuff for the right price. I mean,
absolutely,
it's a very big market for that. So
yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not interested necessarily.
You can have all your cars. Just give me the ones they don't want to mess with, and I'm going to charge you accordingly.
Yeah, Gene, you're almost into the smash wholesale, right? Like that's your market, right?
Yeah. Well, so I've got a couple mobile techs that do regular wholesale and dealerships and body shops, and then we do some larger wholesale smash work here, right? Like in between the big company that doesn't want to fix everything and the body shop, we found a great little niche to do big damage to a great wholesale level and turn good money at it. That's what I like about this group of shop owners here is we've all got successful shops, but we all run different shops. It's not like we're running the same operation.
No, it's very different.
They're all working, and they're all, at least from what I can see in our discussions, they're all what we want to do, right? We're all, at the end of the day, man, I try to live like a pretty stress-free life and do what I want to do. And that's what I've built this business to do is to allow me to work on what I want to work on and build what I want to build. I remember one of our talks, Matt, I think we were talking about shop space, but you were talking about like one thing is to build a skyscraper and another is to build a town, right? And neither one's wrong. It's just what you're trying to do.
And they're both needed.
Right.
Both.
Yeah.
It's not even as one wrong as they're both necessary. 100% Cory is stress-free life.
You
got no kids. You got no kids, Cory, too. That's it.
He just gets in hell every year.
Right. Matt knows.
Well, and one level more of that, Gene, is when you talk about, I think we were talking about growth and what growth looks like. You can grow a skyscraper, you can grow a town, and as a business, you can grow wide, you can grow tall, you can grow in adding, think of Sal or Bryce that are like, we're going to just grow our value personally. Like growth. I mean, one of my favorite, Hayes Freeman, he's not even a dent guy anymore, but he always said healthy things grow. Like that. If you're a healthy tree, you're growing. If your bank account's healthy, it's growing. If you're personal, your spiritual, whatever it is, if you're healthy, things grow. And as a business, you have to be growing. And it doesn't always look the same, though. It doesn't mean that, like Hudson, he bashes on shops. It doesn't mean you have to have a shop to be growing. But I do think you need to be growing or you're dying. I mean, that's just what's happening as a business. If you're not growing, you're drowning.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Josh was asking Matt if you got any guys doing lot work.
Yep, we do. Yeah, we do. We use it more as a training ground, to be honest, because retail is who we are. That's, if we were doing a SWOT analysis, kind of who we are as a, wholesale never comes up as an opportunity for us, right? Like retail is the opportunity, but wholesale is the middle time for my retail techs. It's what allows us to learn to be good retail techs and be able to hire someone when they're not really at the level that can do retail work quite yet.
Right.
Yep.
Dwayne's asking multiple locations. Anybody plan on opening more locations? Matt, you got 3 now, or
I have two.
Chris has a couple of 3 maybe.
Yeah. Close to 4.
4.
So we're gonna come all up and down the East Coast.
I think having a little discussion about how stressful it could be owning multiple locations would be, because me and Matt's had several talks
maybe
about,
a couple MTEs from now that will be the next version of it.
I got a few gray hair.
I'm sure.
I don't know if it's from the kids in the shop though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got gray in my beard now.
That's what I mean. That's my ultimate goal, is to have another location too. Besides this, I don't know why I'm crazy like that. I'm like, I've heard of the horror stories and I still want to do it for some reason. So it's like, let's go.
Yes. I would say that's a goal of mine as well.
I really think that PDR, right? We're all born of PDR, but like the shops have changed a little bit. I still think PDR is like, we're not in our infancy anymore, but I think we're just teenagers.
Adolescent.
Right? Like we're still trying to figure it out. If you came to me so it'll be 6 years in February that we signed the lease on this shop. if 7 years ago you came back and had a conversation with me, it would be way different than today. And really, even just, I don't know, 4 years ago, it's a different discussion.
Yeah.
And certainly now it's a different discussion. It's crazy how just like you grow up in life, right? A 20-year-old Gene is different than 47-year-old Gene. That's way different than 13-year-old Gene. As the business grows, or even as we grow as people, it's crazy how it evolves and changes. And our views, like I bet most of us started with, like I did, a gun case of tools in the back of a truck. You spent $3,000 on those tools, and you were like, "Man, I'm set." Like,
what else is there? What else is there?
Like, I have a tech lose a case of tools out of the back of the truck, and it's more than that. You know what I mean?
True story.
That's
Yeah,
true.
very true story. Yeah.
Poor Dave.
Yeah.
God, I bet he was sick.
But
Cory's
it's
asking
just
about hybrid shops. If I don't know if you want to write that one down for discussion.
Sure. So hybrid shops, as in hours.
Yeah, like you're not there all the time.
Yeah.
By appointment
question.
only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we can talk about it. I
Talk
don't
about
recommend
it,
it,
for
but
sure.
we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Josh, we're offering wheel repair, but it's a kind of a subcontract thing.
Yeah. Same. Sean was asking about insurance too. I don't even think I saw that in our list, but that for me is a huge component of opening a shop. I know you can do insurance claims not having a shop. I'm aware of that. I did it. I know there's other techs that, I mean, I'm sure Bryce Kelly does a lot of insurance claims and he fixes ridiculous stuff without a shop. So until he gets a shop, no one can say you can't fix stuff outside of a shop. But,
Right, absolutely.
Well, we don't all live in Florida.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Or California. I mean,
Corey,
yeah,
I was about to say, Corey lives in California.
I don't
You
think
gotta
about
do
the
better.
rain. Yeah, that's a good point. Fair point.
That for me, that's been one of the biggest advantages of the shop is being able to take on larger, more complex
Make sure your
insurance.
tailgate is closed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
in the pamphlet.
We're gonna add that. We're gonna add that to the handbook.
Chris Wright already got it in his handbook. He's like, I was prepared.
Close the tailgate. How to lock up your vehicle.
Yeah.
we do have the latest video is how to prep the car, bring the car in, and so it's we put like a steering wheel cover on, you put the little floor mats in. It's just it's simple, but
Like
I don't want
dealers do
people to
that.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so, but going back to the shop, one thing I noticed is having a shop. I either had to or it just naturally came, but we just changed our demographic of clients from going from mobile to a shop. And I don't know if it was just from my experience, but it's okay to lose some clients.
Nachos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so even the good ones.
Yeah,
I mean, I
even
had
if
some
they were
body
good,
shops I
but,
had to.
but they were mobile only.
They were mobile only. Yeah.
I've had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
they, a lot of that they were good because they gave you
You were
volume
convenient.
at a cheap price.
Yeah,
And now that you're in a shop, you can do
the goods
less volume
Yeah.
at a high price.
Mhm.
yeah.
You know, and that's what I love about it. So
But,
Good
but people
question,
always
Joshua.
ask,
By the
people
way.
always
Yeah,
ask,
yeah.
do you lose out business from not being mobile? And I'm like, you'd be surprised, at least my area, you'd be surprised how many people want to drive into a shop.
Mhm.
They do not want this mobile stuff. And
I
I
haven't-
was shocked.
Mhm.
I haven't
I
been
was shocked.
mobile since 2020. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked. So,
Well, listen, we just sat down with a new landlord, or I guess new prospective landlord, right? And his perspective of PDR is like, how are you going to pay this rent?
Mhm.
My wholesale guy condensed for $35. You got to do a lot of those, right? And these guys are all fly by night. And I'm like, I just said, Google me.
Yeah.
So sometimes you get
the
to
guru right here.
I'm glad it's a big deal.
but that's the perspective of so many people out there is like, you are fly by night, and there's so much legitimacy that comes to our trade by being a fixed location.
Right.
Yeah.
And how much you could sell yourself, like, you know, doing upgrades to the shop, like, you know, our flooring, I was talking about it before the show, the flooring, the light, like that sells a lot of customers. They walk in
Dude,
and see
it's
stuff like that. They're
it's
like,
unreal. It's unreal,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
famous.
Yeah, I think our clean room has sold more dent customers than we expected because they've gone to 3 body shops and they come into ours and they say, "Holy shit, this is cleaner than any shop I've seen."
Your clean
And-
room is
and-
insane anyway.
Well, and it's transparent. Like there's, in our shop we've got the clean room, but then we also have cameras in the back shop, and those are on the wall. So like you can look at one TV and see all the cameras of all the shop you can't see in the clean room. And so there's this like, well, this is the one I want to be at. So like, we can talk these insurance claims into dropping with us, even hybrid claims where we're working on the dent and then we're subbing out the paint work. We're taking them from body shops quite often because they like our presentation better than the body shop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we are selling a presentation service, a visual service, that it makes a big difference. I know Chris's shops remind me like an Apple store.
Yeah, white and clean.
I try.
That's like
as his cameras move,
as his iPad is. Maybe it is an Apple store. Side business.
Danny Hacker did ask earlier if any of y'all have thought about calibration shops, and that's what I think of when seeing the pictures of Chris's shop.
Yeah, I'm actually talking to somebody now about that in our market too. Yeah, because it's.
Has anybody seen Luke Price's new calibration shop?
Yes, that's where the conversation started. I sent it to him and I was like, we need this in Sacramento. Period.
Bob, it looks like Bob Koch has some connections or whatever too, so reach out to him.
One of the questions that we got submitted that we're going to answer, there's two of them. One is what are the best additional services to add to your retail, which is obviously subjective, and we're going to talk about why we chose the services we chose. But then one of them, what's the expected runway and the ROI, the return on investment for adding these additional services? I plan on going pretty in depth about those services and about I want to hear, because we're not a Restore FX shop, we also don't do training like Gene and Chris do, and so I'm interested in the market and the models you guys have, but I'm also happy to share our when we've added PP. I'm not joking, maybe it was 3 weeks ago I talked to a PDR tech that is very successful, has a shop. I talked him out of doing PPF because he went into it thinking it was so easy to add. It was just going to be and I was like, listen, you need to know this, this, and this. And this is how I would go about it. Not that you can't be successful, but you need to be prepared for this kind of runway. Mm-hmm. And if you're not ready for that, you're going to have a hard time succeeding. And so that's the stuff that I feel like is very valuable.
Absolutely.
Well,
Dwayne was asking if you give a referral free fee for a body shop.
No. I don't do anything.
We have body shops. We refer back and forth,
and
there's no reason to dip in each other's pockets.
Right.
How many of you guys sub out body shops nowadays? Like you actually take in the clients and sub them out?
That is on my list of things to do. But
Chris, you do?
Yep.
Talking about body shop repairs.
Yeah. Like you
fix
customer
the fender,
customer comes in with a fender dent, but it has paint damage, and it's an insurance claim.
Yep. 100%.
How many of you actually take that claim on versus sending them to the body shop or talking them into not filing? We encourage it. You already filed a claim. Sounds great. Drop it off when you want to drop it.
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly what I say. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. With that estimating software, you guys using CCC? Still in Mobile Tech RX?
CCC.
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Both.
Yeah, pretty
same
much.
Mobile Tech RX and DentOps.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If anybody don't know about DentOps,
you will soon.
Yeah.
We and Cory, with you being in the non-hail area, I could see that being more beneficial as CCC. We got CCC this year just because of the hailstorm, and luckily having Ray, that's been we love CCC now. I still don't know how to use it, but I love when I see the messages come across.
Well, it's the learning curve too. I don't want it for myself for 5 claims a month and learn how to use it. So there is an opportunity to do it, but I'm not there yet.
Right. Yeah, I think if you're going to do a lot of insurance work, whether that be PDR or just regular dents, you have to have CCC. That's the lingo that they speak. Yeah. So you better get used to writing stuff in CCC.
Yeah, or at least understand. Let's have someone else write it and understand how to talk about it at the least,
exactly.
At the very least.
Yeah, exactly.
100%, yeah. And that option is available, right, through DentOps. So,
and that's Sean talked about insurance. That's the insurance world. That's huge. Just within the last 12 months, I would say 12 months ago, I did 0 claims unless it was hail, basically. Mm-hmm. And now, 2 a week probably now of hail of insurance claims.
I was doing the math a while ago. Between the two shops, I think we have just under 30 cars at the shops right now like today. And I was there. I was at both shops today, and I think 8 of the 30 cars are insurance claims, and none.
Wow.
I think maybe one is hail, and the rest are all
Just
non-hail
smash
insurance
Insurances
claims.
and stuff. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Insurance is where PDR needs to go, to be honest.
It's the next level.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And people are so scared because they hear body shops how much they pay for CCC and stuff. We pay $350 a month. Next year it'd be $450 a month. It's not that bad compared to how much easier it is to work with insurance and what you're getting
And it's
from
more
it.
stable.
It's more stable.
Yeah. I didn't say anything.
Yeah. I mean, technology's hard.
but yeah, no, it's I've had insurance agents or adjusters come and they want to get the supplement done that minute, like right in front of you, and I'll just pull up CCC and we make adjustments on the spot. Let's get it approved and let's go. And so you have to familiarize yourself with CCC. You have to. I would not be able to do that. I have to send it to DenOps, and then they'll talk back and forth, and it's like, I want to encourage the insurance adjuster to come in, see what we're doing, see the reason why I am charging close
so
to
much better than
repair.
keyboard warriors.
You got to go past like your company and the growth of your company and like the growth of the PDR industry. I now have several insurance adjusters that thought PDR was $75 a dent or $150. Thought he was doing me a favor by doing a dent for $150. That's more than what my matrix said. No. Let me explain why. And once they understand, they become your friend, and now they're referring us as an option, for repair. And they know I can write estimates within 24 hours. It's just certain nuances to get the insurance company kind of sway your way, your direction, because it's new. So that's
Chris, are you writing CCC yourself, or do you have a team
myself with the help of DenOps?
Noah.
DenOps. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Noah is amazing. I had him on several phone conversations. Of getting that rebuttal that I'm not used to, explaining the CCC estimate. He's amazing. He encouraged me to get CCC myself. He's like, you need CCC.
He did it, me too. Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. I could just send them to you and it'd be done, man. Like, I don't, And he's like, no, you got to get it. And so, we trying to get these cars, and we have everything gets stored inside. We don't have any lots, like parking lots outside. We don't have any gated parking. So everything gets stored inside. So I need to get these cars in and out. So if I provide an estimate within 24 hours, I think in Virginia law, and within 3 days, I can start charging storage. So I leave that little piece in the notes. Hey, within 3 days, we're going to start charging storage at this particular time if we don't hear anything back. And just encourage them to get this car in and
get it
out.
Done. I don't want your storage money.
Good luck with USAA on that.
Yeah. I mean, so you say USAA, and I leave that note every time. I sent the estimate up at around 12, and we got approved at 4 o'clock.
I love it.
Good luck with Blue Fire Insurance.
I never heard of them.
Traveler.
I did an estimate on July 18th, and I just now got the check, and I've got him scheduled for December 11th.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. But if you go like when Noah was at, you just keep asking for the manager, and as soon as they get a whiff that it's taking this long, you're good.
Or you get the customer involved. Like we had the customer yesterday reached out to us like, "Ma'am, we like to update every day. We still not heard back on your approval. Yeah. I want to get your car done." She made it happen this morning. We had approvals ready to roll. Like it's amazing what a customer can do compared to a
Oh,
job,
yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
And
especially if
you and Amanda, are y'all writing CCC yourselves?
Not yet. Ray still kind of handles all the CCC we need to. We haven't made that far yet. I've been pushing dents, and Amanda's been handling other stuff. So.
Yeah. The nice thing about CCC too is you there's tons of training out there for CCC.
Yeah.
There's a lot of YouTube videos. It's I don't know. I think if you take what is it like a ICAR class? I think they have an ICAR class or something for CCC and become certified. I think what is it? Estimator, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Badges
I'm putting that on my list right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you talking about
Noah. All the body shop lingo, yeah.
You talking about Noah recommending you get CCC. We had him on the show, to talk about DenOps when, getting pretty new. And I expected him to be like, "No, you don't need CCC. We'll handle it." He's like, "No, I encourage you to get CCC." I was like, "Well, my conversation just went the other way that I expected it to." So,
Exactly.
it's awesome. I love hearing that from him. He's all about it. He's about helping everybody when he's recommending you go ahead and get the system that he's using to make you more money.
He's trying to change the PDR industry for the better, for sure. Not offer just his solution. Yeah. Right. You can tell that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Man, somebody's trying to start some DRP stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really.
Sounds like Sean's doing a little bit of that. That'd be interesting to have a conversation about.
I would be.
Yeah, he said something about State Farm DRP.
Yeah.
Man, State Farm
we get
DRP,
direct
like of all the insurance.
We get direct assignments just through having CCC. We get like Country Financial gets direct assignments to us already, but we're not a DRP.
Yeah, we'll get shop assignments through Farm Bureau. Most everybody but State Farm, we can get a shop assignment through. For some reason, they will not give us one because we're not a DRP. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There you go.
I think
That's amazing, he says. Interesting.
Yeah.
Sean, come on the podcast. Either this one or mine. I don't care. I want to hear you talk about it.
He was supposed to be on ours, but I think we had some stuff fall through when he was on. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to hear about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to know too.
Yeah.
Because we had a lady that worked for State Farm. Her daughter's car was in here getting the hail repaired on it. She's like, "I might be able to get you on DRP." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'll be all right."
Threw the D word out, and you were like, "Oh."
Yeah, I don't like them D words.
Yeah.
This is putting my other panel members on the spot because we haven't discussed this. Are there any questions that you guys had? Before you had shops that you would have liked to have had answered that you just had to grind out and figure out that you haven't heard someone ask that. Is there anything that you're like this is the question I had and I had to just go figure it out for myself?
Yeah, I would say pay scale because when you have a shop and you have expenses and it's more than a truck and some gas and a cell phone, and you're trying to hire a tech and he has this thing where he wants 98% of the ticket, you're like, wait a minute here. I'm going to try to be very fair, but I also don't want to run in the red. So, yeah.
If you get more percentage, this shop ain't going to be here very long. That's how that works.
Yeah. I mean, pick your poison, right? So, anyway, when I was definitely hiring my first technician, and then it's that seesaw effect because he can, depending on his skill level, how do I compensate for that, and what does that look like? And so, yeah, that's the scary thing, because when you have a shop, there's a lot of, I'll just say it, we have a $21,000 nut that we have to cover every month, so. That's pretty.
21,000 before the shop starts making anything like that.
That's just to operate the shop. So, yeah. It's a lot. So
people don't think. I mean, they don't think about that. They think you're paying rent and your insurance and go. It's like, no, we got advertising. We got all the stuff we got to do.
No, it's different. So that's the biggest fear.
I would say for me it was scheduling, and then I just moved shop locations recently from, I had basically like a 2-car shop to an 7 to 8 car shop essentially. And for me, it was scheduling. So, and I learned this literally just the month of December, having this shop, having people drop cars off for longer periods of time. I came from the mobile world, and then I was like mobile / in shop, and it was like 2 to 4 hour windows. That's how I did everything. I'm like, I'll go to you 8 to 10, you're 10 to 2, you're 2 to 4. And now it's like, drop the car. There's no, unless I know for sure it's like a 5-minute dent, like I encourage nobody to wait. You either drop it off for half a day, a full day, or a couple of days, essentially. And that's so huge for just always, for me personally, always having work to work on, because there's always a big dent. I'll schedule small stuff in between. That's fine. But that one's always there. I'll fix the door dings or the half-day car and go back to that one. And that was something I learned literally this month, was just how to schedule a shop. And I could go further, but I'll
let me ask you this, Cory, because we solved this problem by a loaner car. Have you thought about that?
I do not. I've thought about it, but I don't have the loaner car. Yeah, especially if you're like, hey, just leave it now. How am I getting it home? like right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's the next step for sure.
Yeah.
But even just scheduling, just telling the customer, just setting expectations up front is super important. And when you don't think about it, you don't tell them. I'm like, oh, how long does the repair take? I look at the dent and I'm like, the repair's probably 3 hours. But now that I'm in a shop and sometimes I get pulled to look at another car or someone else comes in or I got to do something else, like 3 hours turns into 5 pretty easily. So,
Yeah.
And when they're waiting, I feel fully obligated to skip lunch and the bathroom to finish the dent as fast. You know, like I feel pressure, like they're sitting there looking at me. And so just setting the expectation on that, like I just tell, like, just drop for the day. Like I have a spot for a bunch of cars now, like drop it in the morning. Like tomorrow, I have 3 cars. They're all door dings, but they're all dropping for the day, which is great because I can do them as needed. If I need to leave and do something, I can do it and come back. And it's just that was huge. And I learned that literally this month or month of November.
So one thing we do is we do all our estimates from 9 to 11. No estimates past that. We actually have to get work done.
That's
and
good,
so now we do have some walk-ins. We ask them to be patient with us because we will take a little bit of breaks. But I mean, sometimes the walk-ins, it's crazy. If it's a nice day outside, it can get crazy.
Right. Yeah, Corey, I mean, my 5 minutes scarfing down my food.
Right.
That's what I meant.
Wow, you're pushing it.
Yeah. Doing an estimate. I'm eating. You know how many pushes you can do while you're chewing? Like 30. And then you take
inhaling your food.
Yeah.
What's that mobile?
I always
still sticking with you.
And I'll tell the customer, like, I'll give them, I'm usually try to get all day. And I'm like, look, it's probably going to be done sooner. Like, that's the plan. But I like to overshoot. Yeah, I like to overshoot just to be on the cautious, safe side because somebody will call or this will happen. So I'm giving you the worst case scenario and we'll go from there. And it seems to work really well.
And you just follow up with
beating out the body shop. Yeah, that's
I can
it.
get you home.
Yeah, and I can get you home. Yeah.
What's your address? Let's go.
Yeah, right.
We've taken a couple. Like my office manager's driven a couple people home. I don't have a motor car, but he's driven.
So Lyft has a concierge service. So you ask them for their phone number and address, done, and they will connect with the. It takes
not in
like
Dixon, they don't.
$7. No,
no, we ain't got nothing in Dixon.
Not in Dixon.
You hang it up. I'm the Lyft driver. What you want? Come on,
so for us, one of the rules we put in place
is
anytime a repair goes over $1,000, the car spends the night. That's just that's just the rule.
Yeah.
Like, that's one way to keep it there. And it lets you fill in the schedule, right? Like you can grab other cars, you can take that walk in.
Exactly.
But if you're trying to jam, you can't take in, right? So it's easy to add extra repairs to the day. If there was something that somebody would have told me before I made the jump was to prepare for the little lull in the action that Google slaps you with when you go from a service area to a fixed location. That was sort of a serious wake up call for me. Was like we went from covering like 30 air miles, right? So I'm pretty sure if we could pull the covers off of Google, it's a 5 to 10 mile circle around my shop is where we show up near me.
Yeah,
instead of the whole Pittsburgh area. There was a learning curve there. And
so the question would be more like something about like what's the onboarding time from going from this to more about
what's that transition look like?
Yeah. What's the runway for that? And makes complete sense. What I think one of the questions that I used to get asked a ton and that I think was my question when I went into this was what percentage of my business needs to be retail before I move into a retail shop? How much of my money does need to come from that to be able to cover that? And then on top of that, once I add my expenses of just a shop, no employees, but shop, and then you factor in employees and marketing and everything else, how much on top of that do I need to make it worth it? Because if you add $21,000 worth of overhead that Chris has got, in theory, you don't want to make 21,000 more. You know what I mean?
No.
Like that's you don't want to make just 21,000 more than what you made. Because then it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it? So that was kind of my question was like, what's my personal return on investment? And I'm still figuring that out, honestly. But I think that's the question that we're still. I mean, at least I'm still asking. I'm sure y'all are all still asking, but it was certainly the thing I was asking, 7 years ago.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And then like Gene said, you got to take a step back for 2 steps forward. There's nothing you can do except for if you're working 60 hours a week and open a shop, or if you're working 40 hours a week and open up a shop and work 60, does it make you not make less money the first few months? There's not, you know, you got to see what the opportunity is. What can you do now? Like I do the math. I had a 2-car shop and now I have an 8-car shop. So if I put, you know, $1,200 a day per stall, you know, how much more is that shop worth? What could I get it to? And you do that math. I mean, I could throw out some ideas on that on day of, but
yeah.
I got a question. Does anybody own their shop or is everybody leasing?
Own.
Lease.
Cash.
Brandon, you said own.
Yeah.
Me too.
Andy and Brandon rocking the ownership.
Yeah, that's good.
It was, man, the mortgage was cheaper than anything I could find for rent.
Yeah, I believe that.
Like, I didn't even look inside. He was like, we got this for this price. I'm like, I want it. I don't even care what it looks like. I'm good. Let's go. But I didn't know, because if one of you guys, you know, a couple of you own your shop, I figured that'd be a good question to ask. And that's like, you know, bonuses to, you know, leasing to owning or whatnot. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a question I get asked a lot. I mean, Andy, you and I have talked about, like, why would we spend, you know, between the 2 shops, I spend $16,000 a month just on rent at 2 shops right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, our nut between the 2 businesses is over $100K right now, you know, for staffing and marketing and everything we have. Like, you know, it's like, why choose that versus ownership? and you know, we were talking about growth earlier. You can either grow by owning equity in a thing, or you can grow by being lean and mean and trying to, you know, whatever. And so it's just a matter of what kind of business you want to grow.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's kind of down payments required too on ownership.
Yeah.
And you know,
yeah, conventional's 20% down, so
that's minimum
for that.
Yeah. Well, I guess SBA, but I mean,
I think it all depends on what
it's the market.
Everybody's area is different.
It's not. So I mean,
you're not finding this shop in Cory's territory for what,
$1.5 million for a 2,000 square foot.
But it's also about what kind of business, like, what is your goal too? Like, if your goal is to open 10 shops, then owning one doesn't probably make a lot of sense.
Doesn't do anything. I'm not going to buy 10.
In all honesty, but if your goal is to own a shop and then maybe develop a guy and then maybe sell the shop and have somebody paying you rent, or sell the company, then obviously that's a significantly better model by owning the dirt, you know, than not. So it's a matter of what you want to do. You know, like somebody said, what's your goal 5 years from now? It's more what's your goal 20 years from now. Yeah. And that kind of helps determine what you should be doing with your equity.
Yeah. So like me, like I own my property here, but if I were to expand across the bay, I'd probably lease over there. Yeah. You know, until I find that perfect area.
The place I want to put my next location will probably be leased. I don't see being able to afford anything in that area, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Closer to Nashville.
Yeah.
Staffing's really, really expensive. As soon as you're not the guy doing the job, it's really, really hard to own.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you're trying to be the guy not doing the job, and you look at the numbers every time, it's like, dang it, that's a lot of people I have to pay to not do it myself.
We just hired 3 new bodies in the last 45 days, and we've got another one that's on the books for like after the new year. So that's a lot of labor that you're paying for. You know, whether you're you know, making money or not, so you better figure it out.
Yeah.
Dwayne asked if anybody's college educated.
I'm on double.
I graduated the 3rd grade.
I'm on double academic probation from the community college. They were like, you can go back and take 1 class. And I was like, how about I save my money and I don't.
I got my GED. Does that count?
Cory, do you have a degree?
Do I have a degree? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Figures.
Chris?
No degree.
That's interesting. 5 out of 6 of us don't have a degrre.
My dad told me not to do Denson to go to college, and I did, and then I left, and then came back to do Denson.
I'll go to Cory. My dad told me he didn't want me in the automotive industry either. You see how well that worked out for him.
Mine too.
It's funny how that works.
Want me in law enforcement, so here I am.
There you go.
I have a lot of people. I mean, I'm a blue collar fan for sure, and I have a college degree, and I've told many people that it's not necessary. I'm a full, especially nowadays, just the price to value is just completely out of whack. For sure.
I barely read. I can't read. I don't. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's all right as long as you can read the LED light.
the lines.
You're all right. That's all good.
Hey, so if any of y'all have any questions, real quick, go ahead and get them in pretty soon because we'll be ending this, and then I mean you can still type them. We can go back and look at them and send them to the guys.
I know.
I think I'm added maybe 10 questions that I caught.
Perfect.
Going through.
We're gonna have to do a Zoom meeting, just the four of us, to like make sure we have enough time to answer all these questions too.
Yeah,
I know it's.
I already know we don't.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be
Put
tough.
one of you in each room, and then
So it's supposed to be a 2-hour thing. I think one of them might be interesting. Is just I know that Cory and I both we like listen to a lot of audiobooks. Do you read much, Chris? Is that a thing you do? You listen to audiobooks or podcasts, or what are you into?
I read podcast. Yeah, not podcasts. Read and then the Audible books. Yeah. Audible.
Yeah. I think that's
audiobooks for me.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that like in all these like the guys that I want to learn from. One of the common threads is they are constantly looking to someone else to try to learn. We're all listening. Yeah, exactly. We're all you're reading or listening or right off camera. I've got the same. It's like, what's the next book you're reading? And I know a lot of the guys here we've shared books with one another, and that's a thing that like whether we're a college educator or not, education is incredibly important to us. It's just more we're more granular in that we're trying to educate ourselves on what seems to matter for our day-to-day business and our 9 to 5. But it's
that might be the worst thing about college is that you think that you finished learning after college.
Exactly.
That's probably the biggest problem that exists, and like that was. I don't know. I don't know. What I know now from reading just all the books that I've read over the years, it doesn't touch college. It doesn't touch it. Yeah, and it's changing. The world changes so fast. CRM system 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. I learned that shit by reading and talking to all you guys. That's it. Like that's the only way to do it. You can't go to college for a CRM system. Come on.
Yeah.
No. And I always, as far as my education, seeing Gene and Melissa's praises with the 20 group, like being in that group alone has fast forwarded my career, our business and everything. So shout out to you guys for that. Cory's in it, Brandon's in it. So you guys know,
Yeah, thanks guys.
And it's not $40,000 a semester either.
Right. No. And learn so much more valuable shit.
But yeah, like, Matt, going back on the books, I know, what, a year and a half ago, whatever, Matt was recommending so many books and stuff, and I've listened to all of them because I'm a big audiobook guy. Because if I open that book and start reading, I'm going. But I listened just like All This Hell I did. I was working 7 days a week. In every car, I had a new book I was listening to for every car. And that's what got me through. But
see, I can't do audiobooks because if I'm working, like the information in that book's gone out the window. I'm not paying attention to it. So I have to actually physically sit down and read
know
the
yourself.
book.
Everybody's different. You got to know how you learn. But like it was, man, I think going back to like Zig Ziglar when he was like, you got a university, you're not doing this stuff. Like go to that school. That's my college education is all the books, audiobooks I've consumed. Like, because I know I learn better audio wise instead of visually, or at least reading.
Especially when I'm using my hands. That's the funny thing. If I sit in a chair and listen to an audiobook, I can't do it.
Yep.
If I fix dance and listen to an audiobook, 10 times better. It's weird.
That's crazy. Yeah, like you said, everybody's different.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I think the guys that are up here, we've got a little bit of experience and get a little bit of knowledge or whatever, and obviously we'll have a stage that we're chatting from. But if you asked us honestly, like, I don't think we're any smarter than any other dent guy. I think we just read books and make mistakes and try to learn from them. And like, that's the thing. It's just like learn from whatever you do and learn from other people and hopefully make a few less mistakes next year. That's it. And keep grinding. And so that, to me, that's, if you can take nothing away, again, the whole point of this whole discussion is not to be prescriptive of this is how it looks to be successful. You need to do this, this, and this. It's more to just be kind of descriptive about our own journeys. And hopefully guys can take from it and learn from it and grow from that and maybe take some steps with a little bit more confidence as a result.
Yeah. That's what I really love about it too. You guys this isn't something to sell people on something else. It's just there for, you're taking your time out to help the industry, help others and stuff. And I recommend everybody soak this up like a sponge and, hold yourself accountable for it. And if you're wanting to shop, put what these guys are telling you to use and make it happen.
My favorite part about books is literally you can take Brandon Bouchard, one of the best coaches out there probably in the world outside of Tony Robbins. He has his lifetime of knowledge. One of it, like, written in this book that you can listen to in 10 or 12 hours. And I think for us being on stage too is like, I've been around doing this for 23 years. I think everybody else is pretty close to that, 10, 15, 20 years. Like, we're going to distill all that stuff we learned into a couple hours for you to take. I mean, there's literally nothing more valuable than someone doing that for you. And the people that think, I'm not going to learn that much, like you don't see the world the right way yet. I don't think.
Yeah. Right.
You know? If you learn 4 things out of this book, that's what it's for, you know?
Well, I don't care whether you're like brand new in the business and trying to figure it out, or you're a veteran. Like, there's always something to learn. Josh, I think, made a comment earlier. He's like, man, I've never seen Gene that quiet. He must be learning as much as me. To learn from, man. I want to be the dumbest guy in this room.
That's me, dude. Sorry.
There's
For sure.
I don't have a college education, man. You got me beat.
Shit. I forgot I'm superior to all of you. Wait, where's my diploma?
I guess Cory should have been at the lead of the poster.
Yeah, there you go. There, if you don't want to buy audiobooks, if you got a library thing, you get a library app and get them for free.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Melissa has some good book recommendations, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Non-business
All
books.
in.
We share books. I love sharing
fiction.
books.
Yeah,
She's great. So,
Yeah.
What are you reading, Matt?
I'm so sorry. What?
What you reading? I know you're reading something.
Well, I'm always reading something. Right now, we've got Traction is one that I'm in the middle of.
Oh,
I'm like 60% done. Right
Did
now.
I recommend that to you? That's my favorite book.
It's a
Did I
good book.
recommend
It's
that?
really good. I'm
love
looking
that
right
book.
now on my shelf right now. What's the Made to Stick was one that I've read like 3 years ago, and I started it again because it was like some early parts of it. That was a good one. But and then I like fiction too. I don't have to. It doesn't have to be business. Like, I like just reading, literature that's good literature. So anyway, I'm always listening to something. Like, I've always got 2 or 3 audiobooks up. So.
Yeah, Traction is really good.
So I'm rarely out of like the self-help business genre, but right now I'm listening to Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. Man, I could listen to that dude tell stories all day. It's a great book. I'm 42% of the way through the book. Good book.
That's
enjoyable.
I was reading a couple of the Reacher books. I need to get back into that. Those had me sucked in pretty good, and I fell out of it. And now the new season's about to come out on Amazon, so I want to go ahead and get ahead of that and read the book. So I got still Amanda's Kindle to do it. She's got 2 Kindles. I only got to steal one of them. How many books have you read this year? It's an insane amount of books that she's read.
She's killer.
It's a lot.
Harry Potter.
Probably 2 a day.
She's a lot. Melissa's on a hard roll to finish the year too.
Dwayne, that's a good one.
Jeez.
She's got 3 Kindles. I didn't even know about one. Hey, hold on. Watch this. 79 books this year.
Stop it.
I swear.
Wow.
I don't even know how to figure out how many audible. I've not listened to that many this year. I don't think that's a lot of
That's
books.
reading too.
That's
That's not audio.
How many
That's
books have you
reading.
read in the last month?
I've got 270 in my audiobook that I've downloaded in Audible. So I've got a lot of Audibles, but that's over multiple years, obviously.
Look, they were supposed to fly out with me from Nashville to Pittsburgh.
I remember that.
My flight got canceled, and they were like, "No, we're flying later because Amanda was waiting on a book or something like that."
a book release.
Yeah.
So I had to fly.
What, really?
I got in at midnight because of the
7.5 books in the last month from Melissa.
That's strong. That's strong.
Yeah.
That is strong. Damn.
Yeah, very.
I love it. I love it.
Somebody needs a job. No, she does more than a lot of us.
Damn, Brandon. Oh, that's going to come back.
Brandon won't be an MTE now, so don't worry about that.
I will be kicked out of the 20 group now.
Amanda,
Somebody asked
you can't even
what
talk
app
to
to
Amanda.
use for audiobooks, and if you're friends with Amanda Christensen, you've been murdered. If you're friends with Amanda Christensen, her sister owns a bookstore, and there's this independent Audible style app called Libro.fm, and you can actually support her store through your audiobook subscription. It's pretty cool. So I still use Apple Books, but that Libro.fm is pretty cool. So hit Amanda Christensen up for that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And just so since we're talking about Amanda Christensen, hit her up. She was on Denton Dreams last night. They're about to offer a accounting, bookkeeping, tax service. I highly recommend you get on that. If you don't know Amanda Christensen, she's on her shit. Like
I have called
she's the
Amanda
one I
multiple
want
multiple times for accounting questions.
Yep.
Yeah. So shout out to her. Go, give her a call, and it's going to be like, I mean, what better person to handle your bookkeeping and all that than somebody that's familiar with the PDR industry? So I'm gonna be a big fan and supporter of that.
That's going to be a really solid business. I'm excited to see
awesome.
what they do with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then we got your new institute, Gene, that you're doing glue pulling class and stuff.
Yeah, the master class is like, we're in testing mode. I've got a couple people in testing, right? So it is like, it will launch this month. I'm super excited about that. So
the glue root.
The glue root.
I love it.
I actually like that question. The biggest mentor too. I think we're gonna do glue root.
I love
I'm adding that, by the way. Biggest mentor. Y'all got to come up with your biggest mentor in the industry. So, like, just a real quick.
I don't have one. I can say mine since I'm not doing the speech. It's like 4 of you guys right here. Ryan Shutt. Man, I can't even name them all. It's like everybody that's I've ever reached out to that's helped me on the spot. There's
there's 5 of us other than you on here.
We equal. We equal.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
No, Brandon, even because I actually just hit him up the other day, took a video of him. I was like, what am I missing? And he's like, right here. So, all right, cool. So I will to be a test tube Gene Fetty. But I always joke that I'm not Matt Moore. I'm the Matt Moore you get off Wish. That's my goal. That bootleg Matt Moore.
It's almost the same.
Yeah, right.
Matt Myers, the master class is in person. So hit up Gene if you want to,
You can't teach glue online, baby. Come on now.
Well, hey, we're at an hour 17.
What's your hurry?
I'm not in a hurry. I mean, we can stay here for 4 hours,
full of dent nerds.
Yeah. Ain't enough whiskey in the room.
I got to go put kids to bed, so I can't stay 4 hours.
I got it.
I want to go home and eat dinner.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry myself. So
I'm hungry. I got a dent to finish, and I got a shop to finish cleaning because our toy drive is Saturday. So
here's what I'd encourage. If you've not done Education Day because maybe you went once and it wasn't, whatever, the goal of this is to make it as valuable as possible. And on top of that, I know that Gene's hosting a couple of classes that I'm going to be part of. That I know Paul's got a class he's doing. Paul Coordinate. I mean, like, leaders in the industry are hosting these classes now. Obviously there's companies selling things, but that's okay. But there are also just leaders that I want to learn from that are going to be there. So try to be at Education Day, MTE. I think it's going to be the most valuable yet. And I'm a little biased, but I think that's the case. And then if you've got questions that you'd like us to answer, message any of us and we will add it to the list and try to put it together. And we're going to come prepared. I mean, my goal is to have, if it's an ROI question, we're going to have some real data. If it's an overhead question, we're going to have data. If it's, how long did this take to, we're going to be able to talk about our real life experience and not just shoot from the hip like a podcast or whatever. And so if you've got questions, the more questions you have, the better this presentation is going to be. And then at the end, if we have some Q&A time, great. But hopefully this just facilitates conversations throughout the whole MTE.
Absolutely.
That
awesome.
MTE is so great for those connections, right? Where you're away from the day-to-day. You're not answering customer calls. You're not looking at estimates. Like, you can sit down and have those breakouts and talk to people and connect. That's probably my favorite part of MTE is the connection with other people in and around the space. And the way it's grown is just unreal. I think this will be my 12th year of MTE.
Yeah.
12th or 13th year. If it's 24, it's going to be my 13th year, I believe, of going. And it's just been really cool to see how it's evolved. And it is not online, right? Like, how many people don't go because they're afraid of the social media drama? There is almost no drama.
Not at all.
At the show, right? Yeah. Like, just
not unless the bar runs out of alcohol. It's no.
And do come.
The keyboard warriors don't do that there. It's all keyboard. You won't see that there.
Yeah, no, it's Yeah, nobody's quite as brave as they are behind a keyboard when you're
Absolutely.
in person.
Yeah, I would say
And education day has really, really evolved. I remember those days, like Matt was talking about, where it's like the same presentation year over year. It's just not that anymore.
Right.
Like it is. There's so much information to absorb.
That's what our team member, Ray, he's getting into PDR. He's about to go to training. I'm sending him to education day. I was like, you need this, and this is a great year for it. So
we're bringing my son and our content intern, our social media intern. They're both coming this year for education day and the first day of the show.
Good deal.
I would say go with it. I would say don't be afraid to talk to anybody. There's never been. I would say Matt and Gene and Mike Toledo and all these guys were, you could say, famous. I guess you could say, or industry leaders before.
Gene is Googling.
Just Google me.
Google him. Before anyone even knew my name, and all of these guys are great people. Like you could talk to any single one, any guy on here or anybody not on here that you perceive as an industry leader, they will stop and talk to you in the hallway. They are not scary. There is nothing there. Everybody I know is humble, from the best technicians in the world to Bryce Kelly to the best business guys and Matt Moore. They will talk to you. Yes. And it is a great conversation, and there's nothing to be worried about. Like, if you want to come and say hi and say, I've listened to your podcast and I appreciate this, like, that is like, please do that.
Corey, did you read that?
Gene is the glue guy. I didn't want to say it earlier.
Listen. I dropped my glue sticker, man. Just embrace it. If you're
that's it. Guy, just you got to do it. Like, they embrace the glue room, dude. I freaking love that.
The glue room.
I love it, dude.
So Corey, it's funny that you say that. That is exactly how Corey met me. I was working the Kiko booth, and he came up and he said, "Hey, my name's Corey. I'm from Sacramento. I'm trying to start doing some business coaching. Can I give you my card? Can we connect?" Like, he's still in my phone as
Corey Denka,
Coach, 10 Pro Sacramento business coach. It's like the longest name in my phone. But that was exactly what he did. Is he walked up and he was like, "Hey, you don't know me, but hey, nice to meet you.
I know you."
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I remember being very nervous about that because, like, you're an industry leader and I'm not, and that's okay. And like, don't go to MTE because all these people are standing in a room drinking a beer, having the same conversations. No one is better. No one on this call is better than any of you guys. And I promise you, the amount of people that paid me to coach them and I learned things from them is an endless number. Like, everyone has stuff to offer. Okay, so just don't please come talk to everybody. So
I saw Corey slap a golf ball at Top Golf against the back wall, and
best shot I ever hit.
That's the guy to be
with. That was like, I did not know you invited me. I showed up, and they're like, "Okay, you're up."
Showed up at Top Golf, and he just killed it. And I was like,
shot
"Who's this kid?" Like, it was awesome.
Oh, I thought you meant the back wall behind him.
No, there was
he was smoking the ball.
And we were all like, there was a little Holy Spirit in there, all right? It helped out.
It was impressive. It was an impressive showing.
It was.
Matt, I remember meeting you at MTE. Like, I think you were still a one-man show, mobile and stuff, and we met and talked and formed a great friendship. I can't be thankful enough for that. Just sitting down and talking to you that night.
I think that's literally the common thread is that all six of us on this podcast all met at MTE. Like, whether we knew maybe behind the keyboard or whatever, but I consider all of you guys friends. Like if you were in my town, you'd have a place to stay, and it's because we met at a trade show. And so, if nothing, I mean, if that's not a testament for MTE, I don't know what is. So get down there, meet some people, educate yourself, buy some tools, and grow.
Yes, I want to touch on something Josh Drago said earlier, was that Thursday's his busiest day, so he didn't know if he's going to be able to make it.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly. Look, educate your customers in that. You have to put the effort into growing yourself to grow your business. And if you want to grow, you need to take the time to come to MTE, come to the education classes, spend that on yourself.
We're shutting the shop down. Like, we're bringing Ray, his wife. The whole shop will be shut down. Continuing education. That's what we're doing. We'll be back next week.
And this will sound more harsh than it's intended to, but don't think like a tech. Think like an owner. If you want to be a business owner, act think like a business owner, and that means investing in the things that you need to invest in. And if nothing else, invest your time. And that's, to me. I mean, I'm going to be down there to talk, but I'm also going to be down there to learn. And
Yeah.
you know, I think all of us are going to be, when we're not talking, we're going to be learning from somebody else.
You're learning,
So,
yeah.
Yep.
For
Listen,
sure.
you either work in your business, right, which is the tech mindset, or you work on your business.
Absolutely.
If you want to grow, you have to work on your business. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been
100%.
saying that here for this past year. I'm like, I'm too busy working for my business. I need to be working, or too busy, for my business. I need to be working on it. And I ain't had that opportunity yet, but I'm trying.
So I see Vincent keep popping up in the comments. It was really cool to watch him after the advanced skills seminar this summer, the growth that I've seen him show on Facebook, right? He took and he invested in himself and came down for a few days, right? And took that back and put it right into play. And he's off to the races.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, Vincent, get ready to be on the show then.
Jeff McMahon was another one. You know, Jeff went to the advanced skills seminar. That dude came in here so excited after he got back, like all the stuff he learned. Like, it was awesome to see it.
I was just happy
awesome,
to
man.
show up and have an old fashioned and a cigar with Matt Moore.
Right?
Me too.
Me too. He said, "Matt, I like to have one with Matt too."
I'm gonna go have one with Matt tonight.
Brandon, Melissa had a good point. You want to give a shout out to your toy drive?
Yeah, I'll post it in the comments once we close this out. That way everybody has it. But yeah, our toy drive is this Saturday. We're having a car show / toy drive, but we still have time to make monetary donations. And I can't thank our industry enough, because just like every year, it's our 4th year, but I would say 95% of our donations come from our industry. So
Same here. It was huge.
Yeah. We're just trying to get the community involved a lot more. But anyway, so I'll post the Venmo link at the end after we close out. And if anybody wants to donate, we're going shopping Thursday night or tomorrow night. So you got time. But anyway, hey, okay. So do y'all have any more things?
So I just want to say that it is February 1st, so that's Education Day.
Thursday
at 3:00 is our talk. Right after you get out of my talk, Advanced Loophole, we'll all just as a group, we'll just walk over. I'll hop off on stage. I'll make a big entrance, and it'll be great. I'll bring a whole crowd with me, and that's my plan.
You're going to Gene, Education Day. Gene's just going to be running back and forth across the hall to each of his classes.
That's right.
He's going to have like sweat stains on his pits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I personally want to say thank you all guys for doing this. I never thought, 5 years ago when I started Dapper Doom Repair, I'd be sitting here on a podcast talking to you 5 guys, Brandon. I'm sorry.
Not a burger joint.
But no, I never expected to be here, and I owe a lot of that to you guys and stuff for the guidance and the education and the help. So I'm a firsthand believer in what these guys are offering, so go see it.
Yes.
Well, we're excited to have you all there, and thank you guys for having us on. You've got a great show, a great audience, and we appreciate you guys taking one of your evenings to have us on to promote this talk. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you guys.
Well, we appreciate it, and appreciate everybody that was commenting, watching all tonight. We had a huge audience. So that ought to make y'all feel really good. So hopefully that's going to be a lot of people coming to MTE.
What size room did we get on the?
Well, listen, if I can go standing room only by myself in a big room at MTE, the 4 of us,
that's
better be like standing on people's shoulders,
sitting on laps.
Right? They're gonna need to shut down the room because we're gonna go past the fire
code or something.
allotment. That's my goal for this talk.
I like it.
So
he's back, Josh. He dipped out and he's back.
Yeah. I got to roll though. I got to take my kids indoor soccer.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all do.
Nice to see you guys.
Appreciate it. We'll see y'all.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you guys.
See ya.
All right. Well, let's see.
Bye, everybody.
So, hey, again, we appreciate everybody watching, and we will be back next week. I don't know who we're going to have on just yet, but we'll let y'all know next week.
We'll figure it out.
But again, appreciate it. I'll put my Venmo in the comments after this, and please donate if you can. anything helps. It's for the kids, and that's all you need to. That's all you need to know. It's for the kids. Donate
For the
Anyway.
kids.
Yep. Peace out. See y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.